What's up, people? This is the People's Podcast. I'm your host, Young Meech, aka Young Twiggy, and my co-host is.
Shit, I'm gonna be sleeping in the East, but I'm still never gonna get used to you calling you Young Twiggy.
Young Twiggy. You're gonna have to get used to it, because I don't only just talk about wrestling, man. Your brother can rap too. Y'all gonna see me making them songs. Y'all gonna see them songs. Y'all gonna see me talking wrestling on the podcast. Y'all gonna see me even in the wrestling ring. So get used to it. Young Twiggy on the beat.
Man, you better have them bars, bro. Because god dang it, man. Everybody say they can rap. God dang it.
Everybody say they can, but I'm gonna have to prove it. Mixtape coming on the way. So even wrestling fans out there, if y'all like music too, get ready for the mixtape as well. Young Twiggy. I ain't gonna tell y'all the name of the project just yet, though. We still got work to do. But this week, man, we're talking about Big E. He's a new WWE champion. We're also gonna talk about Brock Lesnar. We're gonna talk about matches we've seen throughout the week. We got a better career debate. Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair, two legends. And then also we're gonna talk about a new segment. Who is getting dogged in professional wrestling right now? So not just the WWE, but at least the ones that I'm going to bring up is definitely in the WWE right now. So let us start off with the first topic. Wait. Before we even get into the first topic, I just got to address a couple people that I seen in the comment section that, no, this is the People's Podcast and I'm coming at y'all already. So a few people, I guess a lot of y'all kind of go off the headlines, which is cool and everything. But y'all actually gotta listen. I know we live in a day and time where everybody is sensitive, but you make sure you open up your ears. This is a podcast. Listen to the podcast. Listen before you just comment. But if you comment anyway, I don't care. So I don't care what y'all say. But at the end of the day, I want people to know that I wasn't talking about like there needs to be Donald Trump in wrestling, because I'm like, what the heck? Donald Trump doesn't need to be in the WWE. He's already been in the WWE, but I wasn't saying that. I'm talking about we need a character that's willing to push the boundaries, especially in this sensitive time. Because it is such a sensitive time, I think the best characters will use it to their advantage. Because nowadays I feel like everyone is kind of being, especially in the WWE, is super PG. Instead of being like, this is restricting me from being the best version of myself, use it to your advantage. Everybody's so sensitive, then become the biggest heel by saying everything that people that are sensitive about. That's what I would do at the very least. And I guarantee you're probably gonna have people that love you for that, because you're speaking for those people that want to say those things, or people gonna hate you for that because people are sensitive to what you're talking about. That's what I would do. So I mean, that's what I was talking about. But you want to chime in, John?
Sure, man. I mean, I don't know how many times people can, just boo a guy because he insults the fans, or, get really, angry at a guy because he doesn't like how he's getting receptive. I would like, for something different than somebody to try new ways, the AEW had a guy doing something like that where he was just a straight asshole. I like that. And I also liked how, when Randy Orton was getting at AJ Styles, he got personal with him and was trying to say some actions and hurtful stuff. So, I mean, if that person was like in AJ Styles' point of place, you know what I'm saying? So, and I hear you what you're saying, man. I feel like, if anything, just try to hear us out and hear what we have to say, man. Because we're not trying to say let's make wrestling great again, but I sure do like it.
I actually like that headline though. Let's make wrestling great again. But we need to make WWE great again. And some people are saying that it is being made great again because Big E is the new WWE champion. He's the new champion on Raw. He beat Bobby Lashley on this past Monday Night Raw. Tell me your thoughts on that. Do you think Big E is going to give us a great title reign?
Probably not.
That's how I feel. I'm sorry, Big E. I love you, but dang.
I had this feeling in my back of my mind. I was like, this dude's probably not going to be champion by the time Survivor Series comes up, man. Like, or if not, he's probably going to lose that. But I feel like we're not going to see Big E as champion when he gets to WrestleMania. He's gonna flounder out. I feel like he's gonna have like a 3-month reign, 2.5 month reign, losing on TV or something. That's the way I feel about him. But then again, though, maybe this is the time we get to see Big E do big things. You know what I'm saying? And What you got to say about it, man?
Man, I don't think it's gonna last that long. If I'm being honest about it, Big E is a great wrestler, and then not only that, he's proven to be a great personality since his time being a part of the New Day. But for me, if I'm being completely honest about it, and this is not me hating on Big E, congratulations to him. I don't see Big E as a WWE champion, as the heavyweight champion, as the top guy. I don't see him as that. That's just from me. Now, he can prove to be that, which, you know, he has the opportunity now. He is the top guy. He is the WWE champion. But when I think of Big E, I really don't see him being like that top guy. So I don't see his title reign lasting that long, if I'm being honest about it. I feel like it may not even last 2 months. I think what's going to end up happening, he may be champion a couple weeks, and they're going to put that title back on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley proved that he had a great title reign, and to me, Bobby Lashley is the guy that you kind of want to move forward with on Monday Night Raw. I don't feel like they have somebody like that's greater than Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw at this point in time, outside of like the Randy Ortons. But yeah, so I think Bobby Lashley will be champion in the soon time again.
Well, we just have to wait and see, man. I will have to wait and see. It almost looked like as if Bobby was like almost honored to give up the belt to, you know, Big E. But you know what? I kind of respect the fact they gave it to Big E because, you know, he's been there for a while. He's been there for a long time. I think he does get his just due. But I just think, man, this is Big E's time and opportunity to prove us all wrong. And without a shadow of a doubt, make us believe in him, because I'm like, man, right now, I doubt this is going to be a good or okay run, man.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to prove himself. I just don't. Right now, I'm the one that's doubting how the title reign's going to go, because I just don't see it lasting that long. Not because Big E's not a good wrestler. No, Big E actually puts together great matches. The New Day overall put together great matches because they're great wrestlers. So it's no shade on Big E. Big E is, I mean, congratulations, but he has the opportunity now to prove us wrong. He has to entertain us week in and week out. He has to prove that he is that top guy, and he has that opportunity. And I just want to see how he gonna do it. I want to see how he gonna make that happen.
Yeah. Shoot, we have to wait and see, man. I just hope he don't get injured, because, you know, one thing I always see about Big E, he's been injury prone every time something starts going this way. We have to wait and see, man. We
gotta wait and see. But I did have a question, because I do have a Brock Lesnar theory. So this question is also going to be centered around Big E. Right now, Brock Lesnar is a babyface that's going against Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns is the heel right now, and to me, my question is, should Brock Lesnar at this point, this is not WrestleMania season either, should Brock Lesnar be challenging Roman Reigns, and should they be in a rivalry? Or should Brock Lesnar be challenging a Big E now? Not Bobby Lashley, because he's not the champion, but should he be challenging a Big E at this point in time? What's your thoughts on that? Who should Brock Lesnar be challenging right now?
It's kind of like it's really delicate who you got to put up against him, because of the fact, you know, if you're going up against Brock, he's most likely going to steamroll him, so it's hard to pick. And I feel like I feel like Roman versus Brock is a great rivalry, but I feel like we've done it way too many times, so I wouldn't even had him on that same show. But I get it. We want to make money, we want to make ratings, and that's almost a guaranteed Brock versus Roman. And I think somebody that he should have been beefing with was Bobby Lashley. And if not, I wish they would have kept Braun Strowman around, because this would have been a perfect match for him to put him in. And for him to go after Big E, that'd be kind of terrible, because we know he's going to run him over. And then even if, let's say, for instance, we want to go by like a story standpoint, Big E has never even held barely of a candle to Brock Lesnar. So he just get ran over.
Exactly. Well, see, the interesting thing is that my question was originally centered around, should Brock Lesnar be challenging Bobby Lashley over over Roman Reigns. But now that Big E, that was before I knew Big E would become the new WWE champion. So my thing is, here's my point. I feel like Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, I agree with you. We've seen it so many times. But even though they both have different characters, and I could see how that can be interesting, I'm like, at least save that for WrestleMania season. Why are we having Roman Reigns challenge Brock Lesnar right now? I'm like, I don't get why we're having this, to me, because it's like we've seen it so many times, but they are big enough superstars that if it is to happen again, it should be happening at WrestleMania. It should be happening for WrestleMania season at the very least. So to me, I think they should have switched this all together, and because Roman Reigns is still being managed by Paul Heyman, I would have Brock Lesnar team up with Roman right now, and they both just look to take over WWE, take over the whole WWE. Roman's already the champion, and then he already has the Usos on his side. He already has that stable, the bloodline basically, and then I would just add Brock to that, and now Brock goes to try to take over Raw, but they both dominate both shows. So we get to see Brock on Raw and SmackDown. We get to see Roman on Raw and SmackDown because they're a group that they're just dominating. That's what I would do. I would try to do something different.
You know what you put in my mind? I'd be like putting Aaron Donald on the Chiefs.
Exactly.
So on both sides of the ball, they're dominant. And so then on top of that, it'd be like, so in that case, you can just have like an era of dominance. It's like kind of like a Patriots deal where it's just like these guys are gonna just steamroll everybody. But I'm just like saying, who would be the people that you would want to take them on?
But see, this is where the WWE has to build their characters up, because now you have two big superstars, a Roman Reigns and a Brock Lesnar, who are dominating everyone. And not only that, I would want to see Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns become tag team champions, just because I would want to see them both team up. Like, I think it would be exciting to watch. Like,
kind of like the merger from hell when Stone Cold and Triple H teamed up.
Exactly. But like Roman and they would just be dominating everybody. But not only that, you will build up that baby face that will eventually beat Brock Lesnar, and then the other one that will beat Roman Reigns. You'll get to build up two people. So, and then not only that, if they're also in a tag team, you get to build up your next tag team that's going to be the next tag team that's going to dominate for the next few years. Because right now, I feel like tag team wrestling in the WWE has kind of slowed down as well. The New Day not really doing as much. They're not in the title picture on Raw. And then the Usos the only one where I love the Usos. Like, so I'm not going to say anything about the Usos. They're doing what they supposed to do. But I don't know who they really challenging against outside of like Rey Mysterio and then Dominic Mysterio. I'm like, it's not really, the tag team world is not really in the picture too much. Roman and Brock could bring more light to the tag team world if they were tag team champs and they were in a stable together. So that's my theory on that. But I think like, to me, I just feel they need a new star, and WWE can build up that new baby face that eventually could take on like a Roman or Brock and defeat them. Kind of like, to me, the way I'm picturing it is like back in the day when Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero won the title at WrestleMania on the same night. It was like we finally got to see those two dudes that's been built up, that was fan favorites, beat the giants of like Triple H, and then beat, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I think they can go with that.
Yeah, you know what that also kind of reminds me of? You could build up, the person who took down, or the two people who took down the merger from hell, was Benoit and Chris Jericho. And I was like thinking about it. This is your time to probably build up another kind of like Chris Jericho kind of guy, kind of like Harper back a little earlier. We can build a guy who's just going to say what he wants, to say what the people want, and on top of that, take on, obviously the merger from hell, or the corporate champions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
because it's obvious Vince wants Roman to be the guy, so this would be like the perfect time to make the antagonist or the protagonist to the story. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And this kind of is a perfect transition to who's getting dogged right now, because the person who I feel like is getting dogged right now is like it ties in together to what the WWE has been doing recently with tag teams. For some reason, I don't know why the WWE has been doing this. I feel like ever since like The Rock and Mick Foley kind of joined together and made that The Rock and Sock connection, the two unlikely people that like to team together, and then the fans actually love them. I ain't gonna lie, it has worked in the past, but for some reason the WWE seemed like they has made that become the new like foundation of how teams are joined together now. Like, what I mean is, if we talk about the topic, who is getting dogged in professional wrestling right now? I know we got the Ricochets, we got all those guys that are really getting dogged, but one of my people that I feel like is getting dogged right now, and yet it's not on the level of Ricochet being dogged, but I want to talk about Rhea Ripley. Why? I was watching Monday Night Raw this past week, and I forgot what is her name, the lady that wears the little superhero costume now. I forgot what is her name? She wears the superhero costume.
She was Nikki Cross.
Yeah, she was Nikki Cross, but they got a different name for her now. Like, but whatever, we're gonna call her Nikki Cross still. So I seen that they had Rhea Ripley teaming up with Nikki Cross, the superhero version. I don't remember her name, the new version, but basically they got them teaming together, and I'm just like, why are they teaming together? I'm like, I don't understand how this alliance came to be. They were just in a triple threat match with Charlotte that they were both fighting for the women's championship. Now all of a sudden Charlotte is now the champion, Rhea Ripley, and now they call her, is it Ashley Cross? I don't even know what they call her now, but basically they're now teaming together, and they were challenging the women tag team champions, which is Natalya and what's her name? Forgot what's her name? Forgot her name, but basically Natalya and her partner right now are the women's champions, and they were challenging them basically. And I was just like, how in the world has Rhea Ripley gotten to the point that she's just tagging with Nikki Cross? And where are we going with this? I'm like, what is going on? Why is Rhea Ripley not in the women's championship conversation right now still? I was like, this is just random stuff that WWE is doing, like creating these random storylines, and Rhea Ripley is she's just in something that we just like, okay, she's just doing this right now.
I don't know. Maybe things didn't plan out the way that they thought they were going to be for her, and they thought they were going to be making her a lot bigger than what she should have been. And unfortunately, this is just how it's playing out. This is how we kind of call it getting dogged, because when I look at Shayna Baszler, when I look at Old Girl, like, I really think these are the kind of women you want to get behind, and make these be your dang you like your pillars for women's wrestling, and instead you just have them in roles and gimmicks that don't quite make sense. It's like, it's weird that Shayna Baszler steamrolled everybody in that Elimination Chamber 2 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And yet she's not champion, which is weird. Now, in fact, that was the one where Becky Lynch beat her in a roll-up. I'm like, what?
A roll-up pin? Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, like, it's like, it feels like, dare I say that, it's like you're gonna get disrespected a couple years coming out of NXT, to the point to where, if you survive the disrespect, you might have a great chance at having a career in the WWE, or at least a long one, or at least one where it has highlights. Because, man, right now, like you said, Rhea Ripley is getting dogged in the same way how Bianca Belair got dogged. Like, what? She loses that quickly?
Oh yeah, let me give you the actual name. So Nikki Cross' name now is Nikki Ash. That's what they call her, Nikki ASH. I guess that's what Nikki ASH. And then, correction, Natalya and Tamina. I'm sorry, Tamina. I remember your name now. Natalya and Tamina.
Come on, that's Jimmy Jimmy Snuka Fly? Super Slide Snuka?
Yeah.
Isn't that his daughter? Come on.
Yeah. So that I was gonna say that, but I was like, I'm gonna end up remembering it. Tamina, I actually like Tamina too. So it's Tamina and Natalya. They are the women's tag champions right now. So that's who Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley were facing. It's like right now they got Rhea Ripley going after basically the women's titles with Nikki ASH, and I'm just like, that is the most unlikely team. Like, it don't make no sense. Nikki has on a superhero costume. Rhea Ripley looks like a punk rock like bodybuilder basically. Like it just don't. I'm like, what is going on? How is this even a team? I was like, what's going on?
It don't even fit. Oh my god, that's like the way I feel about it, man. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's just that kind of level of ridiculous, because it'd be like teaming up Asuka with somebody that's not Japanese. It's gonna look weird. I think either somebody's out the door or they just really don't know what to do right now. The fact we even gave Nikki Ash that, you know, that attire is kind of wild to me. I get it, superheroes are big, but it ain't that big and positive enough to do something like that. God dang, man, just god dang.
Who would you say is getting dogged the most right now in professional wrestling?
That's a list.
It's everybody.
Nah, man, but I feel like a person that's been getting dogged or just not being used to their full abilities is what's it called? It's probably Jeff Hardy. Again, granted, they gave Jeff back his music, and he had a great, or if not excellent, ladder match back a couple years, I think last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, man, we could be really making him like one of the best champions out there, and we could have brought back the hardcore championship with him, man. And we just not doing it. We're not doing a lot of things with him. I mean, yeah, he had a great match with Sheamus, but it's like, bro, every time they do something with him, it leads to nowhere, man. And I feel like if I was booking him, I would probably be making him just being like my intercontinental champion, but he's going to be like the strongest intercontinental champion you've ever seen. Yeah, and I feel like, or if not, have him the hardcore champion, because obviously he still wants to do these kind of matches, man. I don't understand, man. It's like, man, it feels like they don't know what they got, man. It's like a mismanagement of resources completely.
You know, it's funny that you brought up Jeff Hardy. He was someone I was going to bring up. I'm not sure if you've seen, Jeff Hardy was in he was kind of trending in the wrestling world because a couple of weeks ago, he was seen being a part of the chase for the 24/7 championship. I'm not sure if you've seen the clips, but he was with just the random wrestlers chasing after the 24/7 champion. Jeff Hardy was in that line running. It was just like, why is Jeff Hardy there? Like, what is going on with WWE right now?
You know what you could do? Similar to how the hardcore championship had like anybody can grab it, they should let Jeff get it and let him hold on to that title for the longest. Because god dang, every time I see someone show up on the 24/7 belt train, is nothing good. That means you out the door. We've seen it happen to EC3. We've seen it. Was it Buddy Murphy on that train too? Oh my god!
If you on that train, you know your career ain't doing too good. That's in the WWE at the very moment. Like, you may be making money, but you may be on your way out. Like, cause if you on that train and you ain't the one with the belt, and especially if you're in the back of the line, then you really, it's looking bad for you. It's looking bad for you.
Oh my god! They gotta. It's like, I used to like that belt because they had like a lot of great comedic talking points and stuff like that, but it's just like, enough's enough. You got to do something serious with this belt, or else it's gonna be looking like we're almost out of here belt.
Man, what happened to Cesaro? Is he injured?
It's a good chance he's injured, but remember how hard they were pushing Cesaro? Like,
man,
I thought Cesaro would have been champion by now.
That's why I brought him up, because I'm like, I ain't seen Cesaro in so long. I'm like,
it's weird.
He was getting pushed and then he's disappeared.
Yeah, and it was weird because it's like, another thing I remember about Cesaro is like, he's always on up, up, down, down. So I'm like, where is he at the moment?
Yeah. But it's one more other person that I want to mention on this list that who's getting dogged from me this week, because I wanted to bring up the fact that, of course, like we always bring up Ricochet. Ricochet is he's probably getting dogged the most right now in the world, but we always bring up Ricochet. But this person I want to bring up, similar to Rhea Ripley, they have had great moments in the WWE, but we're talking about currently right now, I don't like what the WWE is doing with one more person. AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, another guy that should be your champion.
Exactly. I'm like, this man, what is wrong with the WWE? I'm like, this man, he built himself up in the WWE. Like, we already knew how great he was in TNA, but then he became so great on SmackDown that he became a big name in the WWE as well. Yeah. Not only that, like New Japan Wrestling, like AJ Styles, everywhere he goes, he becomes the top dog. They started off right too. They started off right when he was going one-on-one with John Cena, giving us 5-star matches. Then he became the champion on SmackDown. He put SmackDown back on the map in our time. And then it's like, what are they doing again with him? Like, why are y'all wasting someone that just had a boneyard match, had the last match with The Undertaker, AJ Styles, that person that we were saying was at that level. This man is just now in the tag team division. And I'm just like, what are y'all doing with him? Like, Raw needs competitors to try to go after the WWE championship. I'm like, how's AJ Styles not in that title picture? I don't understand what's going on right now. The man was facing Undertaker. The man was the champion on SmackDown for, I believe, almost a year or close to that. Like, what are we doing? Like, they're dogging AJ Styles right now.
Yeah, you know what's weird? I pay attention to AJ Styles on a couple of his matches and stuff like that. No, number one thing I keep seeing, people don't like the new AJ Styles, man. They feel like he was shadows for himself, like a shell. I'm like, come on, it ain't that bad. But then it was like you said, it's like we have no great direction with him. I'm glad they teamed him up with Omos, and they kind of made him like, you know, like he's a champion that's kind of like, I need protection. But I'm like, come on, now, you AJ Styles, you don't need protection. I've seen you in TNA, man. You've fought the odds many times over, man. You don't need protection.
Yeah, man.
I feel like they don't know who they got. I don't feel like they know that that's AJ Styles. I think they think AJ Styles is some guy that walked in one day.
But that's what's crazy is like they treated him right though. I'm not gonna say they always dogged AJ. AJ was being treated right in the WWE. I loved his storyline I loved when he was the champion. He was the face that ran the place of SmackDown. I loved his rivalry with John Cena. I mean, he had great matches, period. Like we were just talking a few years ago, him and Shinsuke Nakamura headline WrestleMania.
Another guy that's been dogged to high hell. God dang, man. It's like, I feel like I wish what they would do with Shinsuke is like have a partnership deal with New Japan Wrestling or something like that, and have Shinsuke wrestle and do things the way he used to do in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I think that'd be dope. Like just to have those kind of matches, man. But you know, WWE though, it's not in the business of making the greatest decisions at the moment.
Because I'm just like, you had people that was like, it's funny because it seems like right now they don't have enough wrestlers to be in the heavyweight title picture. Basically, they don't have enough challengers to go against Roman Reigns or enough challengers to go against the Raw WWE champion. But it's like, no, they do. They built up these people to be larger than life that made the fans love them. AJ Styles built himself up through the years. Then the WWE also continued with building him up when he first got there. But then they just allowed him to go stale. Like now, when I used to, you know, it's crazy when AJ Styles had a match on SmackDown just a couple years ago. I used to be like, oh, this is about to be one of the best matches, no matter who he was wrestling. Now I don't even care that he's wrestling. It's like, I mean, it's like AJ Styles is wrestling. They got rid of the aura that AJ Styles was putting on 5-star matches with everybody. Then now it's just like, you know, it's just AJ Styles.
From the phenomenal one to the ordinary one, man. It should be like This went from, hey, look, it's Superman to super ordinary man. Like, come on, bro.
I don't know.
We got to do something better with AJ Styles.
Man,
and it's weird. It's like, because we gave him like a lot of the members that were in the Bullet Club and stuff like that, and then we, instead of just making like doubling down on that stable, we just kind of let that flounder out. You know, kind of after the Undertaker rivalry match, you know, AJ Styles hasn't been the same. Like, remember that ridiculous match where they went all the way up in the new WWE towers?
Yes,
they fought their way from the top.
Yeah,
I think that was the moment where AJ Styles disappeared. That was the moment.
Yeah, like I don't know what they did. Like, I mean, he was the Raw tag team champion, one half of it, but it's like, man, they got to get him out of this. They got to get him out of this little realm of the tag team division. Build up tag team wrestlers. Stop trying to form these little random connections with people and just have them become tag teams. Like, actually find tag team wrestlers who's been tag team their whole entire career, even before you sign them to the WWE. Build up real tag teams. Stop just putting people together randomly. I don't understand why WWE keep doing that. It's
or
like,
how about you let the wrestlers who are tag team wrestlers wrestle that way? You know, I think his name is Tucker. You know, the big dude that was the champion last year for Money in the Bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember they got rid of his tag partner. All right, so the Viking War Raiders. Those two are a dope tag team, but remember, I think they were they involved in that ridiculous match?
I think Otis was.
Okay.
Yeah, Otis. I think he won the Money in the Bank. Yeah.
No. Remember that terrible match from last year, where because we're in COVID wrestling, and
oh, I know what you're talking.
And they had the fake alligator in the stumps. Yeah, nah. This is what we're saying. People get dogged. I'm like saying, like, why not have the Viking War Raiders be your champion? They on NXT, they were dope. It made me want to watch every match they had. And he was like, dang, these dudes are big, but they're athletic. And I'm just like, we could have had like a big man Thor in wrestling. Instead, we just, you know, put them in terrible matches. Jesus Christ, man.
Build up the tag team division again, WWE. But before we move on to the next topic, the better career debate with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, let us take a quick break. But I want to hear y'all comments on that, man. What do y'all think about the tag team division right now in the world of wrestling, especially in the WWE? Let us know, man. But let us take a quick break. And we're back from the break, and we were talking during the break, man. And I was like, we got to record this. We got to get y'all thoughts on this, man. Why has the WWE continuously destroyed everything that Triple H has built up with the NXT and the NXT characters? Think about this, because we were just talking about the tag team division. Think about this. Undisputed Era, you had the Revival. To me, I thought the Revival was actually going to be a legit dominant tag team for years to come. I thought they were on the trajectory to be a Hall of Fame tag team, because they reminded me of old school tag team wrestling, but in our time period. And they were putting on 5-star tag team matches in NXT. Then you had Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's like, wait, and then they had the Viking War Raiders. I still think they had the best War Games match with them. And I'm like, first we couldn't get their name right because we couldn't use the war in their name. And then on top of that, it's like we had them in terrible matches involving fake alligators. And then on top of that, I had forgotten what they had done to the Acolytes. All I remember was Connor was the only one around, and then he was gone. And then on top of that, it feels like with every WWE tag team, they just throw two people together, like the Bar. I'm like, all right, you got Cesaro and Sheamus on the team. I'm like, what? And then remember a couple years ago, they just threw everybody who wasn't from America on a team and called it a tag team.
Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal. They just threw Rusev is in there. They threw all of them in there.
Shinsuke was on there for some reason. I'm like, why did you do this? And then everything it's like everything that comes up from NXT, it feels like Vince makes it a point to ruin it. Like, he isn't as good as this guy. I'm like, God dang it. So we saw what happened to Ricochet. We saw what happened to Aleister Black. We saw what happened to Bobby Roode. I'm like, how do you mess this man up?
Oh my gosh, you brought up Bobby Roode. This goes back to who's getting dogged. I don't even know where Bobby Roode is at anymore. Does this man is he still with the WWE? Oh,
yeah, he's still with the WWE. He was in the tag team. Just a random thrown together tag team. If I'm not mistaken, he was
with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, with Dolph Ziggler. And I'm just like thinking in my mind, why aren't you using Bobby Roode to his full power? And it's like I feel like the reason why they're not is because he's from TNA.
But oh my gosh, we gotta think about Bobby Roode too. When he was in NXT, because we're actually talking about, we're going to talk about Hogan and Ric Flair, but Bobby Roode was like our version, his character wise was like our version of Ric Flair. You could clearly see that he was a Ric Flair fan. But not only that, like he came out, his entrance song was fire. He had people singing it. He came out with the robe. He was a heel. He was a champion. I thought literally when he was going to go to the main roster, I was like, Bobby Roode is about to be one of the biggest heels for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I was like, we need this actually. Tragic.
I'm just saying, hey man, if we want to give a guy a template to become the next guy and be the scumbag wrestler to say what he wants, it would have been Bobby Roode. He has the build. He has the. I know he can talk. And I know he can wrestle.
Man.
It's like we just wasting him, man. I'm just like, come on, bro, come on. Y'all didn't give this man this magnificent entrance for this.
I got respect for Dolph Ziggler, but that's how you know he was dog. This man was the top star at one point in NXT, and the last I've seen him, he was teamed up with Dolph Ziggler. Like, how does that even make sense? Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, they don't even look like they will ever be a team. Like, what? What are we doing right now?
Oh, man. How about this? Remember the Bobby Roode Snickers commercial where they would mess up the entrance? They just don't care about this, man. Like, come on, man.
Glorious, man. Oh, that was so good. The entrance song made you become a fan of Bobby Roode. That's how you know Triple H did good with NXT. Like, he knew how to build up people. Like, your entrance song, your entrance actually matter. And we began to love Bobby Roode.
Yeah, no, and let's think of it like this, though, man. Like, the one thing I wish they would do more often is, like, you know how in AEW the fans would actually sing Chris Jericho's song.
Mm-hmm.
In NXT, they used to have artists and performers and musicians come out to do your entrance.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen with WWE. That only happens on WrestleMania. That don't happen.
Hey, I wanted to get your thoughts too on the new NXT 2.0. Like, for me, I feel like as time goes on, I'm gonna be able to give people more of a take on this. But what's your just initial thoughts on NXT 2.0?
I don't know how to feel about it. We have to wait and see, because this might be the beginning of the end. This might be ECW 2.0. But I kind of, it feels like they're turning NXT to like, it kind of looks like a smaller SmackDown, if that makes any sense, man. I was a big fan of the cage, and I was a really big fan of like the fans being able to bang on the windows when the matches happened. Man, I was a big fan of that. I'm like, why would you take that? It feels like we sucked a little bit of the personality out of NXT, man. We just did.
Yeah, I'm like, once again, Triple H built up something that I was shocked that it made me want to start watching wrestling again, because I was just like, NXT is fired. They got so many great wrestlers. Tommaso Ciampa, which is actually the new champion right now, the new NXT champion, and Johnny Wrestling. You had Velveteen Dream at the time. You had just stars. The tag team division was giving you 5-star matches. It was like, no matter, they couldn't do nothing wrong. The women's division made me really start watching women's wrestling, and I was just like, dang, women's wrestling is on a whole nother level. Then that has become a little, watered down too on the main roster. Like, what has happened? I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan, but I'm like, the women's revolution has been like stifled down to just Charlotte and Becky Lynch. And then we had Bianca Belair for her little run, and we had Sasha. So it's like, it's just been stifled a little bit. Like, we're not getting those same 5-star matches. We're not even seeing like they're being given that same opportunity like they were. Like, we're not seeing the long matches no more. I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know what's going on with this main roster.
Remember, women went to main event WrestleMania. And ever since then, they're kind of getting, put in the back seat a little bit, man. Whenever they used to main event, they used to be in the main event. I'm just like,
we gotta talk about it like it was 10 years ago. Like, remember when they used to be in the main event? That was like, just a couple months ago.
Shoot, man. Like I said, man, they gotta tighten up, man. Like, I don't know what Vince, Stephanie, and Triple are up to, man, but they gotta come up with something. Because if I was in charge, man, because I know the women can put on great matches, man, they'd be main eventing a couple of weeks out of this. Not a main event a couple of weeks. They'd be main event every other week. And then on top of that, I would be using my talent a lot better. Why isn't Shayna Baszler your champion? But why? You built her up and don't use her, man. Like I said, it's like another thing when Vince gets his hands on it, all of a sudden just turns to dust. Like, god dang.
Shayna Baszler. Oh my lord. She was built up so good. Putting on 5-star matches.
She beat Asuka in record time, and then we just disrespect her so thoroughly.
Even Asuka, man. Asuka's been treated kind of. Asuka had some good moments on the main roster, but why did she have to lose at WrestleMania to Charlotte? Like, did Charlotte really need that other accolade that she ended the streak for?
Hold on.
Asuka?
That's Charlotte's character, man. She wants the keys to everything. And we know this, man. Like, remember how like she kind of made it a point? Why shouldn't I? I'm the best wrestler ever. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember? Like, shoot. So to her, it's like, yes, I am the great. It's like to her, she's the new John Cena. It makes sense. So, and on top of it, let's not forget she is wrestling royalty. She probably gets the max benefits. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't know. Like, Charlotte is phenomenal though. I'm not gonna take nothing away from Charlotte. Charlotte to me should be champion of Raw right now. I'm just saying, what about everybody else? That's all I'm saying. What about everybody else? Because shoot, we need some people that's gonna go against Charlotte that actually look like that's possibly gonna win. Like, same thing with Roman. We need people that actually gonna, give him a challenge that we actually may believe that they're gonna win. Like, besides Brock Lesnar, like, of course Brock can come back and make you believe that he's gonna win, but that's just Brock. Like, we know that's Brock. What about everybody else?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's like, because Brock is a walking legend. He's a Hall of Fame. We know this. So it's just all like, to me, like I said, I feel like Brock don't even need the belt. He just needs an event.
Man, what's funny about Brock though? Brock has switched up his whole style, like the hair and everything. I'm like, Brock didn't went young. Like, Brock didn't got young on us. Like, how did Brock went from like this heel character, now he's looking he a baby face and everything. I'm like, it's kind of dope though. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of dope. I'm like, that's one thing that WWE's doing pretty good. I'm like, I like what they're doing with Roman, and I like what they're doing with Brock. I just think they need to team them together somehow, some way.
Yeah. I would like that just so we don't get literally same verse, same as the first. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly, because we don't need that. It's not even WrestleMania season. Like, I think they just confirmed though they're supposed to face each other at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
Man, you know what I would have done for Crown Jewel Saudi Arabia? Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, a match everybody wants to see. All right, cool. You don't want to do that? I would have made John Cena, since he's back on the roster, versus actually, has it Bobby Lashley versus John Cena? I actually like the sound of that, actually.
Yeah, we have it. I'm not sure if we actually have. I think we got that. We got that. Yeah, we got the match. Yeah,
it's like, what's happening again in 2019? I actually like that idea. Or it'd be kind of crazy, a triple threat match: Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, and John Cena in a triple threat to see who gets the face Roman Reigns.
Man.
Or possibly the Demon, who might sneak Roman.
I don't know, but before we move on from this topic, let me just pay homage to the late and great Bobby Roode by playing that phenomenal theme song in the background real quick. Let me just play that.
No, I can play that with better audio, right?
Oh, go ahead and give that to me then. Go ahead. I want to know if I'm gonna be able to hear this, and the people are going to be able to hear this, because Bobby Roode deserves this. He deserves his moment. We don't know what happened to this man, but the time that we had him on NXT, it was glorious. It was for sure glorious. So I'm like, We need that moment again.
Can you hear it?
I could kind of hear it from you a little bit. Not too much though.
We'll have to fix it. We'll have to fix it later then.
Let me see if I got you.
There you go. There you go.
Come on. This is the time.
Glorious. Gotta bring it closer to the mic. Yeah.
The late, great. No, I'm not gonna say late great because that's what they usually say when people pass away. But his character has definitely passed away. I don't know what happened to him.
Dead on arrival when he got to the WWE. God dang, man.
He got up to the main roster and they made sure he would never be glorious again. Like, I don't know what they did with him. Man, let us move on to the last topic, the debate. Better career, Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, or the Nature Boy Ric Flair?
Come on, man. Come on, man. You know it's only gonna be Rick. We know that it's like this, man. Out of the two great evils, I look at Rick as the one that's like, man, I know for a fact he's had the better wrestling career, man, with the better matches. It feels like the thing about Hogan, he was wrestling's first great icon, man. Like, you know, just coming into like, you know, as coming into his modern age, right? And on top of that, he was gonna have great matches for you to sell to people. But he was never going to have like a great match. In fact, a lot of his matches are lackluster. But Hogan's great at playing to the crowd. Well, but Rick was really out there, kind of just, you know, out there in every territory, or if not in every WCW event, carrying it and just doing it his best, man. And then on top of that, it's like, I guarantee you, if Rick just like, we'll say for instance, he just wanted to stay in WWE for whatever reason, WCW wouldn't have been around. It would just been Sting. Like, Rick has faced damn near everybody and it's had a phenomenal match. And it's like, if you want to see how a heel should be, go watch Rick. You want to see how an underdog should be, go watch Rick in the Royal Rumble. If you want to see Rick, you know, just be like the head of a stable with the Four Horsemen, no matter what iteration, Rick is that guy. He can sell a promo. In fact, you know how legendary he is? He is in music videos. They do his catchphrase in locker rooms, man. He is in wrestling history. Mm-hmm. He is a legend. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, Ric Flair ain't never going out of style. You know, he's one of the hype up videos at the Jaguar Stadium. You know, right?
It makes sense. It's Ric Flair. Makes sense.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Man. It's like, and then on top of that, Flair country used to be the Carolinas, man. You couldn't go in there with any disrespect with Flair. Ric Flair was pretty much God down there. It's like, Ric Flair to me is one of the most important figures in wrestling that'll ever be. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you look at how, if we want to tell the story of wrestling or like how it went down in the Americans, Rick is at the forefront because he's been there and damn near every generation when it comes to like wrestling really picking up steam. And then on top of that, he's always there. He's just showing everybody how it's done. And you want to pick Hogan, that's cool. But Hogan in WCW, I feel like just hurt everything about Hogan. He was barely wrestling, barely showing up, barely putting on even a match. I was watching how he was going up against Roddy Piper. How is it that Roddy beats you, but then we're going to use a technicality and then be all like, well, now I'm still champion next week. Like, what? It's that. Like, it's like, oh my God, man, I can't stand Hogan. When it comes to letting him book his own matches or letting him do him, it's like, God dang it, man. I feel like if you like Hogan, it's like you just like the big, you know, icon kind of guy, the big seller. Because God dang it, man. Matter of fact, defend Hogan, man. Just tell me why you like Hogan so much.
I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting just for this moment. The one moment right here. I've been waiting for this. Hey, Ric Flair, great wrestler for sure. Hall of Fame wrestler, the better wrestler between the two. But if we're talking about Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamaniacs, then it's this moment right here. Fight for the rights. A real American. I don't know if I'm a real American, but fight for one. Come on now. Then the music hit. Come on, John. And I'm going to just let this play in the background while I talk about Hogan real quick.
Yes, man.
Hulk Hogan was the biggest babyface in the company. And then the man also became the biggest heel in the company. You can't say that about too many characters in wrestling history. We're not talking about them as a wrestler. We're not talking about that because Ric Flair is a better wrestler. But we're talking about better career, better character. I'm choosing Hulk Hogan. That man led the NWO. That man led the NWO, which also led to the Monday Night Wars. WCW was dominating the WWE because of that man, because that man went to NWO and he turned heel. He led a group. He led the Monday Night Wars. Let's not forget, he body slammed Andre the Giant as being the All-American Hulk Hogan. He inspired the world. Hulk Hogan was The Rock before The Rock. The Rock obviously has taken it to the next level with Hollywood, but Hogan was in movies back then. Hogan was not only the biggest babyface in the company of the WWE, but who career would you rather have? Would you have just Ric Flair's? Great wrestler.
I would rather not appear in Three Little Ninjas. How about that?
Oh, okay. But would you rather have Ric Flair, who just was, Ric Flair is a legend. Don't get me wrong. But when we're talking about like wrestling characters and we're talking about career-wise, Hogan he's one of the very few that can say, I was the biggest babyface and I was the biggest heel at one point in my career. Not too many people can say that. Like, how many people can actually say that? There's not many. Stone Cold, people couldn't even hate Stone Cold. It was just weird when he turned heel. It was like, we don't want to boo you.
He was the heel, and yet he was still beloved. I think the only person who can come close to saying that is Jericho. Because Jericho is like one of those guys who can play up being the good guy and the bad guy very well. Another guy who can do it is Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. Shawn Michaels, when he came back, was like a pure babyface after his match with Triple H. He was like pure babyface. People loved him. And then back when he was pure heel, when he went up against Jericho, as I think about it, no matter what Shawn does, he's cheered. Actually, as I think about it, whether he's the scumbag or the hero, God dang, man. There are not many people that can actually do both well.
That's what I'm saying. Hulk Hogan did both, and then he was the leader of a legendary group, the NWO. You know how big the NWO was back then?
Also know they were the reason why WCW fell apart.
They was the reason why they built them up, though, too.
They put everything in one basket for the NWO, and then it fell apart. Too many people joined, and on top of that, the storylines made no sense. Do you remember one of the worst matches in WCW when Kevin Nash laid down for Hogan?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
After he beat Goldberg.
I remember that. But see, here's the thing: that ain't Hogan's fault. At least not all of it's his fault. Hogan built up the WCW company to be even better than the WWE at one point. And then they just had terrible booking. They just kept adding to, because the NWO was so big, they kept just trying to center everything around the NWO. And that's on whoever was writing. That was on the writers. Of course, Hogan had a lot of control at that time too, but that's because that they were a bad company. They just end up running it to the ground.
I feel like you just disrespected Flair and Sting right there with that statement. God dang, man.
Sting, it was great too. Don't get me wrong. Sting was great. Flair was great, but Flair didn't like his time in WCW. He felt like after a while they just threw him to the side, like he was old and washed up. But during that time period, who was running the company? It was Hulk Hogan. Like, come on now. Like, I gotta play this song too. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on
You're gonna play Voodoo Child? Come on.
Voodoo Child.
Oh my God.
Come on.
God dang it.
NWO. Don't you forget, Hulk Hogan had the entrances too. From the All-American to now Voodoo Child with NWO, black and white. Come on now, drop the beat. Come on, man. Hogan was on a different level, dude. I'm trying to tell you. He wasn't a better wrestler. I would never make that argument he was a better wrestler. Ric Flair was definitely one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Now, if we're just talking about wrestling, it's Ric Flair, end of the day.
Hey, man. Ric Flair gave up better promos.
Ooh.
You can't deny that.
Ooh.
Come on now, man.
I'm going to leave that to the people. Hogan or Ric Flair? Who gave the better promos? Hogan would give great promos too. I don't know. That's tough. Ric Flair had great promos too, though. Ooh.
Come on, man. Come on, man. There's a reason why we get to see Ric Flair with the Migos and we don't see Hogan do anything.
There's a lot of other reasons why. There's a lot of other why. We ain't gonna talk about what happened after Hogan retired. We not talking about that. Like, it's some other stuff. That's the reason why we don't see Hogan with the Migos. Back in the day, though, people wanted to be Hulk Hogan. People wanted to be Ric Flair. They both were up there. That's why it's a good debate. But I'm like, wrestling-wise, I give it to Rick. Better career? If it was me, I'd rather be Hulk Hogan. I'd rather be the guy that I was your top baby face at one point in time that ran the company. Then I went to the rival company and made them better than you because I became the top heel that started the NWO.
Hey, man, I remember when you tried that with TNA and everything went downhill.
Yeah, you can't do it 3 times, Hogan. You did it once, you did it twice, you can't do it 3 times, Hogan. You ain't gonna be able to do it with TNA. WWE became too big at that point. TNA was never gonna be able to do that.
Hey, all I gotta say is there's only one styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun. And I got a hard time holding these gators down.
Nah, Ric Flair promos was on a whole nother level, though. I may have to give that to Ric Flair. As I think about it, you just reminded me Ric Flair was going in with those promos. Like, come on now. He was going off. He said, he was like, you want to ride on, what is that, Space Mountain? He was talking to all the women. That dude was going off. He was going off. WWE needs that. We need a new Ric Flair. That's all I've been trying to say. We need people that's just gonna give us some good entertainment, man. Like, these characters is kind of becoming stale. We need something new.
I mean, I think it's really just not a freedom a lot of people just to do what they do. Because we know in the WWE, a lot of people are kind of conscripted or templated to be in a certain way, man. And, you know, John Cena kind of said it. A lot of guys are either scared to take a risk or there's no avenue for you to go to if you do take a risk and fail. And I feel like now since AEW's around, there's guys who are allowed to take a risk and fail if the situation calls for it. And they can go to AEW and just keep getting better. I feel like for this situation to solve itself when it comes to, like, you know, wrestlers, I feel like you got to take a chance and be the man. You know what I'm saying? If you get fired, it's whatever. You just go to AEW or go to Ring of Honor or go to New Japan and keep getting better. Because I feel like when you get to the WWE, your plan, I guess the plan should be make a name for yourself or make it to where people know who you are because they are the biggest platform for wrestling. And then go somewhere else and keep getting better.
Keep getting better. That's the key, man. Let us know in the comment section who y'all think won that debate. Who do y'all got, Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan? Who had the better career? Before we go, we hit every topic, man. Got a few words for the people?
Sure, man. Only thing I gotta say for a few words for the people, man, is just to make sure if you got a relationship in this world, man, and you care about that person, man, make sure you try to keep that relationship strong, man, because you only get so many good family members and you only get so many good friends, man. Try to make sure that you spend every moment and make sure they have the greatest moments with you, man.
And I completely agree. For more wrestling news, rumors, debates, and opinions, make sure to check out WrestlingRepublic.com. along with at Wrestling Republic on Instagram and YouTube. We are the People's Podcast. Make sure you check up on your people, love your people, and make sure y'all shout out one time for the glorious one, Bobby Roode, because he deserves a way out of what he's in right now. And that's how we're going to end it off. We are the People's Podcast. We love the people. And before we head on out, let me play this song for y'all. We're gonna play this song on the way out. We're gonna enjoy it too. We're gonna do it. Glorious for Bobby Roode one more time. Come on now. Come on now. Take it in.
Oh my God.
We are the People's Podcast. We see y'all next week. We out.